Revan, the prodigal knight and leader of the Sith Empire, is well known through Star Wars fandom and is probably one of the most famous characters within the Star Wars universe. Not only was Revan very powerful with the Force and skilled in lightsaber combat, he was very unusual from many characters because of his quest for infinite knowledge. His quest took him on a journey far would have imagined, and after his passing he left behind a legacy which would be both feared yet respected by both the Sith as well as the Jedi. As a young apprentice, Revan was known for being immensely intelligent as well as being charismatic. He had an ability to inspire his friends as well as his allies. He also had an eternal quest for knowledge, which made him seek out all aspects of the Force, including the dark side. He was a military genius and was renowned for his tactical approach to war zones and decisive leadership even as a Jedi Knight. When the Mandalorians started their invasions and attacks, Revan was very upset with the Jedi Council for their refusal to act against the Mandalorians, as they were well aware that many people would die as well as be taken as slaves by the Mandalorians. His determination to help as well as his charismatic nature gained him a following of like-minded Jedi, who all looked upon him as their leader due to his strength and leadership qualities. Once his turn to the Sith was complete, he believed that the Republic was weak and had to be overthrown in order to maintain a stable and successful galaxy which would be free of war. Using the Starforge and the planets which Revan had conquered as a Jedi alongside his charismatic nature, Revan was able to amass a fleet much bigger than that of the Republic, and his Sith nature made certain that the soldiers who were to train to be Sith troopers had to be the best of the best and had to have complete and devout loyalty to the Sith Empire. Once Revan was captured and had his mind erased by the Jedi, he was just as powerful as before, except the difference was that he was fighting against the Sith for the Republic. His exploits and heroics eventually led to the defeat of the Sith Empire once more, and with the Starforge destroyed and the threat of his old friend and apprentice Darth Malak gone, Revan married Bastila. Once Revan had seen the threat of the Emperor, he leapt at the opportunity to finally stop him, however was captured and tortured for nearly 300 years. The Sith sought to twist Revan to the dark side once more, and though he was able to resist their efforts, he was forced to separate himself from the pain and focus solely on the Force. This had the effect of splintering Revan's mind between its light and dark halves. The light side reflected Revan's original wisdom and compassion, however the dark side Revan showed his strength and focus fueled by hatred. It was not until the dark Revan's defeat on Yavin that the two halves joined together once again, and the newly whole Revan was able to fade away and become one with the Force. Revan's hunger for knowledge and mastery over the Jedi arts drove him to the Jedi Order's most powerful champion against the Mandalorians. In his prime, Revan was well trained in multiple forms of lightsaber combat and was regarded as the greatest warrior of his time. As a Jedi Padawan, Revan apprenticed himself to Kreia as well as many other masters, gaining their insight as well as becoming more wiser due to his accumulation of both different strategies, opinions as well as fighting styles. His skills with blaster reflection were incredible, and his onslaught against the Mandalorians and their war droids earned him the nickname Revan the Butcher. Revan challenged and defeated Mandalore the Ultimate in single combat. As a result of this, the Mandalorians came to believe that had Revan been on their side, they would have been undefeatable. Revan's mastery in the art of battle precognition allowed him to predict attacks before they happened, including the course of battles and the path of entire wars. Following his mind wipe at the hands of the Jedi Council, Revan was forged into a weapon that would be unleashed upon the Sith Empire he created, focusing on physical training and lightsaber mastery. Across his travels, he defeated many enemies, including the famous bounty hunter Kalo Nord and the apprentice to Darth Malak, Darth Banden. During his stay on Korriban trying to locate the star map, Revan single-handedly slew two Terran Tech, the Sith headmasters Uthar and Euphra, and then the entirety of the Sith Academy consisting of dozens of Sith acolytes and masters. The massacre was so severe that it took the Sith 3,000 years to fully reclaim the world again after it had been captured by the Republic. When Revan returned to the Rakata homeworld of Lihon, he and his companions were forced to face 1,000 of the One's finest warriors before defeating him as well in battle, protected by 4 Rancors. On the Starforge, Revan fought through armies of Sith war droids, Dark Jedi and Sith apprentices in a spectacle that was said to have went on for over an hour, which just shows how well skilled Revan was. He single-handedly defeated Bastila and redeemed her to the light side after a fierce confrontation. Without rest, he then went on to go and kill Darth Malak, one of the finest swordsmen and masters of the Force of his era. Onto his Force powers, and not only was Revan an accomplished swordsman, but he was just as, if not more proficient with the use of the Force. As his old master Kreia once said, Revan was power, it was like staring into the heart of the Force. Following Revan's redemption, he gained a unique understanding of the Force and was able to open up both sides of the Force simultaneously, summoning such power that he could then unleash the Force in its purest form. Revan was a master of telekinesis, utilizing the Force to manipulate the environment and thrash around enemies. On Dromund Kaas, Revan crumbled a stone archway and blew open the large doors to the Sith Emperor's throne room with simple gestures. He then used his power to hurl Vitiate onto the ground. During the Battle of the Foundry, Revan called down nearby meteors, pulling them into the inner sanctum. Later, on Yavin 4, Revan was capable of wielding 2 additional lightsabers with the Force, sending them spinning around the battlefield. He also telekinetically force-choked almost a dozen separate combatants at once, which included the likes of Darth Maul, Satil Shan and Lana Beniko. He was also skilled in defensive applications of telekinesis, being able to perform protective force bubbles around himself on the Foundry and Yavin 4. With Tutor Minus, Revan even proved capable of absorbing the dark power of Darth Nihilus, sparing Mitra Surik and Scourge from certain incineration. Many years earlier, Revan overcame the corruptive and draining dark side energies of the Starforge, a feat that required considerable willpower and Force capabilities. Along with established Force defenses and willpower, Revan had great pain tolerance. His resistance to torment made Saul Karaf believe that torturing him would be pointless, and surprised the former Sith headmaster Jorok Orn. When in prison, Revan used the Force to block out the pain and drugs induced by Scourge, pushing physical human capabilities to the limit. Thousands of years later, his drug-resisting techniques would be learned and applied by Darth Bane. Revan learned to use the Force to slow the minds and bodies of his targets and replenish his energies by feeding on them. His mastery of Force Drain was passed on to his Order's Sith assassins and eventually Darth Bane. Revan also learned how to unleash storms of Force lightning, conceal his darkness from the Jedi, drain knowledge from the minds of the Rakata, and personally developed the infamous Thought Bomb. Revan was also gifted with the extremely rare Force ability to teleport, as he did so to escape the Foundry and wander around the battlegrounds of Yavin 4. Using telepathy, Revan also learned how to corrupt Jedi to his cause, influencing and breaking their minds with the Force. Revan's skills in the practice were such that he was able to influence the Sith Emperor to postpone the Great Galactic War for 3 centuries as he learned about the Sith war effort. Revan's skills as a battlefield commander earned him the undying respect of both the Mandalorian and Ikani warrior cultures. The Mandalorians saw him as a supremely worthy foe, one that both embodied their philosophies and showed them their weaknesses. The Ikani, on the other hand, believed that Revan represented the epitome of what one could achieve in the arts of war, and that much of his skill was born out of a highly advanced battle precognition. During the Jedi Civil War, Revan won battle after battle against the Jedi and would have most likely controlled the galaxy had it not been for Darth Malak's interference. Revan also knew many languages, some of which were Binary, Huttese, Mandalorian, Wookiee speak, Selkuth, and the ancient Sith tongue. The legacy Revan left would be forever remembered by the entire galaxy, and as I said earlier, it brought a realization of both fear and appreciation by both the Sith Empire and the Republic. I hope you liked the video, and if you did, please make sure to hit the like button, and if you haven't already, then subscribe to get notified of whenever I release new content. Also, let me know whether you think Revan truly was the greatest warrior of all time and whether he was the most able tactical leader in the entire Star Wars universe, because I personally think he was, and I say that knowing about many other tactical champions such as Grand Admiral Thrawn, Admiral Fermus Nance, Mandalore the Indomitable, Darth Vader and many others. May the Force be with you and have a great day.